Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a short video on how to make your sandbar barbecuing a little easier and more enjoyable. So stay tuned because here we go. So when we're at the sandbar, normally we have the barbecue up there, so you're stuck inside there in the cockpit doing the barbecuing, and everybody else on the sandbar having a good time in the water. So to make it double enjoyable, what we did is we're not going to put the barbecue up there, and we're going to put it out here on this platform here. So we have a bracket that we connect right here, and the barbecue will be hanged right at that position into that bracket. So what happens is now we're going to be barbecuing out here in the water with everybody else. So if we put this little thing here, we'll be able to hook the barbecue here, and it goes down a little bit, so it'll be at a comfortable height to barbecue on the water. That will make it more interesting. You'll be in the water with everybody else having a good time while you watch the barbecue instead of being stuck in there all day barbecuing. So stay tuned. So the first thing we're going to do is locate the position where we want the bracket on, and for me right here where it's at, it's perfect. And I'll tell you why, because not only is it in the right place, it's away from the engine, there's not going to be any problems here. And under here, if you notice, we have these reinforcing pieces here. So if we put it there, this is going to be reinforcing it. This is not going to bend or anything like that, so it's not going to go anywhere. That makes it much better. So when you look at your condition, just look where you can put it on and install it without having a problem where it's going to be a flimsy install, and then it's going to be moving out of place there and cracking this whole thing. But here, since we have that support right under here, it's going to hold this really strong, and it won't bend or anything like that or crack. So next thing we're going to do is open the 4 holes here so we can install the bracket and then install the barbecue and see how it looks. Right, so here are the stuff we're going to use to do the installation. We have a 9/16 wrench here that we're going to use for the nuts here for the screws we're going to use. This kit here, the Magma grill mount kit, comes with the back side, which reinforces the back, and I'm going to use that as well. The front side where we hook on this part here, right? And then the bolts. What I'm using is 1/4-inch bolts. These are all stainless steel. The washers and the bolts. These nuts here are the ones you need. This is the one with the little nylon inside. The nylon makes it lock, so we call these lock nuts, and that way with vibration they don't come loose or anything like that. But we still have the washers to reinforce and everything else. Pen to mark, a drill, and some drill bits of the size 1/4-inch. That's all you need here. This is going to be a fast installation. It should just take a few minutes, but it's going to be a world of enjoyment having the barbecue in the water where we can have fun with everybody else when we're out there. And one more item that you're going to need that I like to use every time you drill a hole through your boat, use a countersink. We countersink the edge on the outside, and when you screw in the screw, it's not going to crack the gel coat around the edge of the hole there. So we use these all the time, every time we do a hole on the boat. And that's it. Okay, so we have the 4 holes already made. And don't forget to always wear eye protection. Okay, so we're ready to put the bracket together now. All right, so even though this whole platform is solid fiberglass with gel coat on top, we're still going to put some butyl tape around each hole just for extra protection. It doesn't really need it, but in this case I like to be protected by any kind of moisture inside that little area. It could rot out the bolt, and we're talking about salt water here, so it's really corrosive. So we're going to use butyl tape around each hole on inside here and the outside here, both sides. So we cut the butyl tape in little squares, or as close as squares as we can. And we're going to go ahead and lay it out on top of the holes, and that way when we present this on the inside, this part will be against the fiberglass there. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side of this one here. Okay, another thing that I want to mention here, the bracket usually goes this way. This part here, it's where the rod for the barbecue goes into. In this case, I'm going to invert it upside down. The reason being is because that way when we do use the barbecue, that rod has an angle. If we put it this way, the barbecue is going to be all the way up here high. Now if we put it upside down, we have the angle going downward, and the barbecue will be at normal barbecue height. When we're in the water, we're about this height here, so barbecue will be a little bit lower than our height, and that way it's easier to work with the barbecue at that height. So we're gonna, instead of doing it this way, we're gonna do it upside down, and you'll see why. Okay, we're gonna peel off the backing of the butyl tape. Just getting ready to put the 2 parts together. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is push the screw right through the bracket. The butyl tape will hold it in place. Gotta do the same thing for the other side. Make it go through the butyl tape, and then just take off the butyl tape off the screw, and just put it back down again. So it'll look something like that. Alright, we're ready to put it through the first holes. Alright, so the next thing is we're ready to put it into the holes here. The butyl tape is going to hold it. It'll stick on to this here, so it won't fall off. It's just run the first 2 bolts through. There. Perfect. Now it'll stay in place because of the butyl tape. Now we have the screws on the other side here. We're going to go ahead and put the back side of the bracket. All right, this is the back side. We have the 2 screws going through, so we're going to get the back side here and put it through. I'm going to need 2 hands for this, so I'll be right back in a second. All right, so we have the bracket on straight. The 4 bolts are in place, and then under here we have the bracket in the back and the 4 nuts on already. So we're going to go ahead and tighten them up, and that's going to make it nice and strong. Just take your time with it and do a little bit here and a little bit on the top until it sits completely. It's going in little by little. All right, now that bracket, it's not gonna go anywhere. That thing is super strong there, not even moving at all. That's gonna hold that barbecue weight with no problems, especially with that bracket on the back. And this is pretty solid here. Besides, we have that little support here and another support here, so this is really solid. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so once you're done tightening it down, that thing is really tough on there. You're just going to score the edge of the butyl tape lightly, and then you're able to take it off nice and clean, as you can see right there. This is a piece we just took off. And do the same thing on the sides. Lightly score it. Same thing on the top. Okay, and on the sides. Okay, got that and that. So nice and clean all the way around the edge. And we have some little excess here. I'm just going to clean it out as best I can, but that is going to make this vibration proof, because that butyl tape is going to stick really hard on there and it's not going to come off, and it's not going to even move from there. This is just solid completely. Wow, it is super hot here. It's incredible. Today also we have a heat advisory all the way till 7 p.m. today, and it's only like about 2 o'clock, so it's just burning completely. So I'm sweating completely bullets all over the place, and it's just running down and running down all the time. But here we go, because now we're ready to install the barbecue on there. And notice, remember what I said at the beginning, we put this one upside down, so that way that the rod that goes in here is going to bend downward, making the barbecue a little lower so we can work more comfortably. So now we're going to go ahead and install the barbecue and see how that came out. Okay, we got it on there, and now what we have to do is adjust this little bracket here. You can put it any angle you want, so we're going to go ahead and adjust it so that way it'll be nice and straight. And also we're going to tighten it up so that way it won't move around like right now it's moving side to side. So we're going to go ahead and adjust it and tighten it up. And this is the bolt that I'm talking about. Just loosen the nut here, and we could adjust it to any angle and any height. And we're going to go ahead and loosen it up a little bit, put it where we want it, and then tighten it up. And we're using for this is a 9/16 wrench right here. All right, I did a little bit of adjustment. It still needs a little bit more. As you can see there, it looks like it's a little bit on this angle. We just need to bring it a little straighter this way. But also the boat is on the rack, so the leveling of the boat on the water may be a little bit different. So this is something we'll take on the next trip out on the water, so that way we can adjust it properly to the level of the boat when it's on the water. So we're going to loosen up here a little bit, and I'm going to bring it back this way a little bit more, and I think it's just fine. So let me see here. We're able to open the door, the little cover works perfectly. We can barbecue right up here with no problems at all. I think it's perfect right here, right in the back of the boat, and you can enjoy the water and your family and company in the water rather than being stuck up there in the boat all day long barbecuing. Here we have it just right. Yes sir, 93 degrees but it feels like 103, minimum 103. It feels really hot. Okay guys, so here we have the final product. As you can see, this slopes downward. The barbecue is at a height which is really good to work with. We have this here as a little shelf, and I'm going to do cup holders here. So I'm going to do some holes here and put a cup holder here, one over here, and maybe one in that corner over there, so that way I could have bottles or cups and stuff here, so it won't fall in the water. But as you can see right there, see the angle that I have. The boat is lifted from the front now for drainage purposes, so in case it rains, the water can drain out. So it's a little bit crooked this way, but when it's in the water, it'll straighten up a little bit. So I think it should be just fine where it's at. And look at this right here. Turn on the barbecue, put your stuff in there, and enjoy the water with everybody else instead of being stuck up there. I think this works perfectly. It works excellent. We have separation here, nothing is too close to that, and it's not too close to the engine, even though I will have a small fire extinguisher out here installed where we can have it accessible in case something does happen. We'll have the fire extinguisher here, so we can extinguish any flames or anything that happens here that gets too out of hand. Although we don't, when we barbecued, the many times we barbecued, we've never had a flame out and a bunch of flames coming out of it. We've always been controlled. Besides this barbecue, it's a really good barbecue. It's the Magma. If you like it, I'll have the link in the description of the video so you can check it out for yourself. This is the, I think it's called the party kettle. This is a little bit bigger than the regular kettle. The regular kettle is a little bit smaller in diameter. This one's a little bit bigger, so you can put more stuff in there at once. There's another thing that I have is these holes here. I have a new item that I'm producing that is going to solve this issue here with the wind coming in there and maybe blowing off the flames, but that'll come in a separate video coming soon. But here we have the setup. It is perfect and I can't complain. It works out really nice. So stay tuned for the next sandbar adventure with the barbecue on the water.